It's the Sunday live show, folks. That's right. It's week 13. You're making your playoff push, and god dang it, you're not sure to start at your flex. Well, the good news is, join us today for 2 hours as we do our Sunday live start sit show, starting right now on the Razzball Fantasy YouTube channel.
Good morning and welcome back to another episode of the Razzball Fantasy Football YouTube channel and podcast other than Sundays. I'm your host, Sky Guasco. You can find me on Twitter at Sky Guasco, SkyGuasco. Joined on my side here by Matty Styles at Styles08. Bob LaMarco in the bottom shouting at his neighbors at 8 a.m. sharp this morning. I'd love to hear that. And Derek Favret, stoked as always, in the bottom corner as well. Derek _Favret. Boys, we got a big one. We got playoffs coming around the corner here in the next 2 weeks. Most leagues, we've been saying this for a while, but it is very important that you have your league stopped week 17 with a championship unless you're doing a double-up week. We'll leave that up to your commissioner, but we do have playoffs starting week 15, 16, and 17. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks, we will get you over that hump and into the playoffs. We do have a couple weather concerns today that I'll get over in just a little bit. We do have 6 teams on bye. This is the final bye week, I believe, or maybe we have one more. But hopefully this will be the end here, and we'll get you guys into the playoffs. 6 teams on bye. Let's go round robin really quickly here just to kick everything off here. Maddie, I'll start with you. Then we'll go to Derek and Bob. What's one thing you're hoping for, looking forward to, a matchup, a concern, a personal fantasy boom needed this week? How are you feeling? And good morning.
Well, good morning to you. The only thing I'll say, and I'll save all of my diatribes and off the rails comments for later, which will come, and I can't help myself sometimes. But is there any way that you could write a note, Sky? Go ahead and get that up to corporate somehow, and find out if we can get Bob to pump the brakes this morning. This is already too much for me.
Don't care.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Don't care. It's happening.
Well, that's why I didn't address you, Robert. I addressed Sky because he's clearly the host.
I'll see what I can do. The main issue here, Matt, you see in a lot of corporate organizations, is the issue is one of the corporate members I'd have to pass this by is one of the main issues. So a lot of times it's tough to get through. You know what I mean?
This is the gate. I'm the gatekeeper. All right.
Yeah.
And the gate is closed.
Yeah. Clearly,
through the gate. I'm gatekeeping the shit out of this show today. Don't even worry about it.
I guess fair enough.
It ain't fair. I never said it was fair. All right.
I'll do what I can. I'll send a note to Santa. We'll see what happens. But otherwise, it might be a tough sell. Derek, how about you, buddy? Good morning.
Yeah. No, weather going to be, like you said, going to be a big concern. There's probably 5 games in the Northeast that are going to be affected to some degree with a lot of rain, wet fields. So that and a number of wide receiver questionables, which I think we're going to get an update. Most of them are going to play, but does the combination between quadriceps or hamstring injuries and wet fields, is that going to put a damper on your fantasy hopes? I mean, that's going to be a big thing for me to keep an eye on today.
Likewise. All right, gatekeeper, the floor is yours.
Yeah, man, I'm super stoked today. It's week 13. We're about headed to the fantasy playoffs. I'm just excited to see if Joe Flacco drops 300 yards today and the Browns decide that, you know what, if we're going to make a playoff run, we got to go with Joe Flacco. So I'm excited to see that happen. Amari Cooper owners rejoice as your fantasy season might be saved, as you could use Amari Cooper with Joe Flacco. I'm excited for that. The other thing I'm going to say, though, is I did look again this morning about the weather stuff. Because of the timing of all the games, the weather's going to end early, the bad weather, whether it's rain or snow, and the game times are actually going to be clear. You're still going to deal with some wet surfaces, of course, but the good news is from the impact of the weather itself, it seems like the games are playing later than the weather is going to impact. So I think I'm not overly concerned, but there are a few games that might still have a little bit. But based on what I'm seeing, it might not be as bad as we thought.
Yeah, fair enough. A couple off bat here. And Derek, if you got it pulled up, maybe I will task you in maybe about a half hour or so. Maybe you could run through just the most intense rain situations. One right off the bat, y'all know I'm a Herbert guy. I'm a Charger fan, kind of. 99% chance of rain in Foxborough with the Patriots this morning. So that's something that might slow down an otherwise pretty lethal passing attack. And Austin Eckler just hasn't been Austin Eckler for the last couple of weeks. So things like that, you're not benching certain guys like Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Justin Herbert, but maybe temper expectations. Or if you have high level swap outs, that is a possibility. It is the time of the year where on occasion you need to look outside of your studs in a particular situation due to weather or otherwise. So appreciate you all hanging out with us. If you haven't already for some reason, please feel free to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, make sure that you don't miss any of our updates. We're here with you in a quad box every Sunday morning all the way through the season. We also have a quad box on Tuesday nights. So most of you come over from Sunday morning into Tuesday night, and now Tuesday night folks are coming to Sunday morning. We love that reciprocation. But additionally to us for Quad Box, we know you love us, but we have a ton of other content and a lot of other content and podcast hosts and creators as well here on the program. So make sure you go to our website every single week for free. A ton of articles every day coming out at football.razzball.com, and many of our hosts hosting channels on the podcast as well. The Razzball Fantasy Football Podcast, anywhere you stream your audio, and of course the YouTube channel as well. At the top of the hour, 9 a.m. West Coast time, noon p.m. on the East Coast time. We're going to have Bob take the floor here for about 10 to 15 minutes or so and give a full injury breakdown. And like I said, about 30, 40 minutes or so, I'm going to give Derek about 3 to 5 minutes as well to fill us in on any of the scary weather going on. For those of you playing games in Eugene, Oregon this week, it is going to be incredibly wet surfaces out here, so be careful there. All right, boys, let's get into this Pat Daddy hot and ready per usual. Very excited to see that. Good morning, Patricio, and everybody else in our comments already. We see you guys, and we are excited about that. Can we get rid of the banner, Bob, please? Better for the comments there. Week 13, under wraps. Let's get it going. Full PPR here, looking for a wide receiver and a flex. Devonta Smith with some rain in Philly as well against the 49ers. Puka Nacua, Ramondre Stevenson, and Jalen Warren. We're looking for PPR, looking for a wide receiver and a flex. Matty Styles, kick us off, buddy.
Normally, you know me, I want to start Puka, but I think that based on a matchup that I think is going to be throwing the ball constantly, both sides, both the Niners and the Eagles. For wide receiver, I think I lean slightly towards Devonta Smith, and I'm going to insert joke here, pound Ramondre Stevenson today. Given my druthers, I'd prefer to start Warren and Ramondre both today, but I'm going to go with Ramondre and Smith ever so slightly ahead of Puka. And Puka, for reference, is going up against the top-rated pass defense or against wide receivers, which is the Browns, even though I think they are going to be without, remind me his name. I've lost his name.
Ward?
Denzel Ward.
Yeah, Denzel Ward, yeah.
Yeah, so I like Puka, but I think that Devonta Smith is the better play today, even with the rain.
Yeah, make that a 2 for me for the same reasons. I like all the receivers that would be playing and all the main receivers playing in Philly today on both sides. And then at running back, although it's a great matchup for Warren, but this is a volume play and it's going to be a sloppy field up there. So, Ramondre for me as well in the flex.
I'm going to go with Jalen Warren and Devonta Smith.
I don't love Devonta Smith in the matchup. I think the pass rush is going to give Philly a lot of trouble. So I'm actually going to go with both running backs in this one. I know it's PPR. We don't usually run that way.
He's a wide receiver.
He has to have a wide receiver.
Right, which is why I'm changing my answer entirely. I'm going to go with Jalen Warren at Washington. He's actually in my top 8, turns out here against the Commanders. And then
Jalen Warren is home against the Cardinals.
Is he?
It is a thing. Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm looking at Jalen Waddle. Is it 8 a.m. or what time is it right now? Can you guys just
I don't even know
confirm?
where you are right now. It's not the West Coast either. You might be in like Hawaii. Maybe
Jesus,
Japan? I don't even know. It must be really early there.
bro, I wish I was in Hawaii.
Nice.
Well, Bob, unfortunately, you don't pay me enough to host and pay attention. It's kind of one or the
That's
other.
true.
Ooh.
You know what
That
I'm
is
saying?
true.
So like,
That is true.
I second that. The gate is
So-
open. Let's talk about that.
Nope.
all right. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold
Close.
on.
Okay, we're good.
Okay.
Close to that gate.
Regroup. Let me draw it back in. Okay. I'm going to go with Ramondre Stevenson in the game here. And for my wide receiver, I'm going to go with Puka Nacua. Cooper Kupp is back. 3 full practices this week, which I love. And he's most likely healthier than he was last week when he ran like 5 routes, 3 targets, and got hurt right away. So I like that matchup at home, one of the nice non-weather games. I know they're beat up potentially, but I think he's going to get his work there, which opens up for Puka. So Puka Nacua, Ramondre Stevenson. Sorry, folks, I'm dialed in here. Carr, Browning, Love, quarterback. Matt?
Gross. Jordan Love played really well last week in beating the Lions. I'm not sure that he is the every week starter, and I don't fancy him against the Chiefs defense, even though he's at home. Browning is going to be a no-go for me. I just you know why I would sit him normally, right, Sky? Former University of Washington player, not a fan. So give me 325 yards and no touchdowns from Derek Carr.
Well, I'm not going to go with the numbers, but I will go with the player. It's going to be Carr for me as well. Playing at home against the Lions. I mean, they're going to have to throw to keep up. I mean, I'm really interested to see what the Lions bring out today. After losing, on Thanksgiving Day, they are 8-3, but boy, this is almost a must win for them. I mean, otherwise there's gonna all kinds of doubts going to creep into that locker room. So I think the Lions are really going to come out strong, and that means that Carr and the Saints are going to have to do the same. So I like the upside. I mean, if there is upside, I like the upside of Carr of those 3. I'm really off. I'm not going to really consider Browning, and then Love against the Chiefs is going to be a really tough matchup tonight. So another feather in Carr's cap in this one.
Just over under Kamara. 5.5 over under receptions for Kamara. What do you think?
Over.
Oof.
Yeah, probably over. Is Detroit even bad against pass catching?
I even like Jamal Williams a little bit here too in a pseudo revenge game. But I think there's just going to be opportunities galore for anyone who can catch the ball in New Orleans with Michael Thomas out and Shaheed is out as well. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities for anyone who can catch the ball in New Orleans.
Yeah, and Olave dinged, right? Concussion, but he's trending to play.
Yeah.
He's in. Yeah, Olave will be in. I'm Derek Carr all day. This isn't even close. The Detroit defense has been, not great over the last few weeks. Detroit, by the way, New Orleans defense is decimated with injuries and it's not just like regular guys. It's like they're studs. Even Cam Jordan might not play today. If he's out, then you got no Marshawn Lattimore. That New Orleans defense, Jared Goff should do his thing, and that means that New Orleans is going to have to keep up. So I like that. No Alex Anzalone either. They're stud middle linebacker for Detroit. So I think that's another feather in the cap for Alvin Kamara, and I think he's going to get plenty of passes today. So Derek Carr for me.
Bob, it's Anzalone.
Oh, watch it. Hey, you might be in Hawaii, but aloha out of here. You know what I mean? Let's go.
Anzalone. Anyway, let's go Derek Carr by a nose over Jordan Love. Jordan Love actually has been playing quite well over the last couple of weeks, but snow during the day in Green Bay should be okay by the nighttime, and that might be a shootout, but that Kansas City defense has been lights out.
One thing I want to say, though, about Jordan Love, if you're a team that's been streaming quarterback, I don't mind if you have a roster spot stashing him, because if he performs well today against Kansas City in a night game that just had snow all day, honestly, he could be someone that could be a league winner down the stretch in plus matchups. So I actually stashed him in a couple leagues just to see how he plays against the Chiefs today.
New York Football Giants next week.
There you go.
Alrighty, need two for one. As I need to activate Justin Jefferson. Do we actually see Justin Jefferson? Nope. I'm sticking by where I'm at. We have 6 teams on bye. So JJ's out this week. We got the Bills, the Ravens, the Bears, Vikings, Giants, and Raiders all on bye this week. We'll see if we get JJ next week. We got to start 3 and a flex, but the flex is usually Swift and Gibbs. My wide receivers are Evans, Thielen, Addison, Rice, and Watson. Justin Jefferson on the IR slot. So need to do a 2 for 1 as I activate. So are we looking to trade somebody here? Is that what we're looking at?
Yep.
Derek, you're the best at diagnosing these things.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. He's trying to pick 2 players to trade, or make an offer to free up the spot for Jefferson. So, yeah, for me, I'll just go ahead and start. For me, I'm gonna try to look to move Thielen. He still has a lot of value. He's getting volume, and of course, we know how he runs out of the slot. But if you look forward, and I wrote a little bit about this in my article this week, he has a very poor matchup over the fantasy playoffs. And so I'm going to look, if you're in this case, Thielen's probably going to be expected to be one of his starts in the playoffs. And if I can give him to someone else and let them deal with those matchups, I know he's a volume play, but I'm gonna try to move him. He probably has a little bit of value, so he's going to be definitely one that I'm going to move. And I might even try to move Watson as well. Especially if Watson has a game today. He did show up last week, and so there may be a little bit of optimism that he might be coming around late season as well. So I would try to package Thielen and Watson and see what I can get. That would be where I would start for if I was him.
Adam Thielen, Bob, just for real quick. Adam Thielen's got the Bucks today, and then we're looking at the Saints, Falcons, Packers, Jaguars rest of the way. Thoughts here, Bob?
I'm just dropping Christian Watson. I don't even think it needs to be that difficult. Yeah, I know Watson popped off last week, but I think at this point, your roster is pretty solid. Addison and Jefferson are kind of like, maybe Addison falls away if Jefferson comes back. I don't know. I don't see Joshua Dobbs supporting Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson, and a solid run game. I think Dobbs is a nice player, but his mobility takes away from the pass volume just a little bit. But I would just in case, because Sky, you have a hot take that Justin Jefferson might not be impactful at all. So maybe Addison still is the lead guy. I don't know, but I think you make it simple. I don't know if you're going to get a trade done unless you're willing to trade away Justin Jefferson. Maybe Jefferson's the carrot you give to somebody, but I think you just keep it real simple. Focus on your own team. Drop Watson. It is what it is. If he pops off in the playoffs, I don't say. I'm not gonna overthink this one.
Styles?
I kind of like what both guys have said. If JCW 1015 is married to a trade, right? He has to make a deal for whatever reason. That's what the decision he's made. Then I'm kind of with Derek on this. Thielen because of matchup, and there's rumor that the fan base is screaming for Dalton over Bryce Young. I don't know that will happen, but right, the whole team's in flux with coaching changes. So you never know what comes of that. So I'm okay with cutting bait on Thielen through a trade. I will tell you right now, today, Rashee Rice and Christian Watson have no higher value than they will probably have for the rest of the season. Now, Rice could go off again today, but Green Bay's tough at home, and they haven't been giving up a whole bunch of points and a whole bunch of yards. They've been gashed on the ground more than through the air. I'm not married to Thielen, Rice, or Watson. I'm not married to Jefferson because it's not 2022. And maybe Bob's right. Maybe the deal is I trade Jefferson and Addison, or Jefferson 1 for 1, because he's the name value. But I like Bob's opinion, right? Drop Watson, keep it simple, or Thielen and somebody like Watson to upgrade. But are you going to start that player that you acquire over Evans, Jefferson, or the other wide receiver, call it Rice, that you're going to keep? You have to get a starter back to make that deal. Otherwise, drop Watson and then don't look back at the waiver wire when somebody scoops him up.
I like it. This is not. This does not qualify as a 4-pack because we have 4 separate answers. But I agree with all 3 of the gents here. I like what Bob brought up there. Yes, it is a hot take because it's Justin Jefferson. Everyone's excited. I get it. I've been saying for a month and a half that I don't think he plays at all. Period. Not even not a factor. I'm not getting rid of Addison. No chance. He hasn't been amazing. I get it, but if Jefferson gets re-injured, then you have that handcuff, right? We just talked handcuffs on Tuesday. You have a rare handcuff in Addison. I'm not getting rid of him. I think Bob's right. Maybe just drop Watson. Nice game, but he would be the carrot I would look to move first because of the nice play. I can't get away from Mahomes, so I'm going to keep Rice. And then, not a big fast food guy myself, but 'tis the season for some Arby's. Am I right, guys? So maybe I'm looking to get a low-level RB2, a flex guy, somebody maybe that's handcuffed or something like that. Maybe Cabernet that would help out down the stretch if he gets healthy or something like that. It was supposed to be Watson or Rice and Thielen, Addison for Tank, Nico for Puka. A lot of options here. Obviously, Tank Dell a little bit beat up. Puka with Cooper Kupp coming back. Nico Collins looking good again, or Rice. So any other thoughts here with this question before we move on now that we've got a little context?
Yeah, well, I think let me go first. So Addison plus one of those for Tank, Nico, or Puka. I'm probably going to make that deal. It's just going to depend on which one of those 3 that you want, because I think any of those 3 provides me more upside than Addison and Watson or whatever. So I'm probably gonna make a deal here.
Derek, how about this? Let's roll through this as it's a trade question, but go through this all 3 of these. So in each pairing, just go quickly. Which side of each pairing would you rather have? And Bob and Matt, I'll have you do the same.
Yeah. So of these 3, and he did say in the next post that this was proposed to him. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I would.
Your ball is in your court, my man.
Yeah. So I would. If the initial deal was Addison and Watson, I'm taking that, and it's just a matter of which of the 3 that I like the best. I'll look at matchups. I'll look at personal opinion, and maybe ask some smart guys like 3 of you. But I would definitely trade Addison and Watson for one of those names.
I'd be easy with 3 smart guys. That might be a strong statement.
My gate's open, unlike you guys. So
I don't know, guys. I don't know. That feels good to be open. I actually like that. All right. Okay.
Yeah, see? That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Man.
If you have a guy in your league trying to trade you Watson and Thielen Addison plus Thielen, I guess, or whatever, for Tank Dell, I'm taking Tank Dell all day. The Houston Texans have a top 5 playoff schedule out wide. He's going to be a monster. I think they actually play Tennessee twice, right, in the playoffs, Houston?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, and that's a smash right there alone. So I would do Watson, Thielen. I would like to keep Rice. I kind of like the direction he's going in as the primary option for Patrick Mahomes. And this is the time of year where the Chiefs have to turn it on. They're not playing the games anymore. They do the weird stuff in the beginning of the year, and they're oddly losing games. Well, this is the time. December is when they turn it on. So I'm going to keep Rice. I'll trade Thielen Watson for Tank Dell.
And I might even go one step further, and because I mentioned about Thielen's schedule, and I really don't want Thielen. That's my thought moving forward. So I would add 3 of them. I agree. I would keep Rice, Addison, Watson, and Thielen. Just throw a counter offer for Tank and Puka. See if you can make that deal.
From your lips to God's ears, Derek, that was going to be my thing. Keep Rice. deal with the fact that you're having to get rid of Addison because you have to get rid of somebody, right? And happily take 2 of the 3. And for me, it's Tank and Puka, and run away from that deal quickly. And let me say this. When you're the guy that's looking at your phone or your email and you receive an offer, what's the very first thing you should think? It's rhetorical, guys. I'll answer. The answer to that is the other dude wants to make a deal. So if the other owner wants to make a deal, then make him make that deal on your terms. Don't get crazy, but he wants to make a deal, and he clearly wants Addison. So keep Addison in the deal. Throw in Thielen. Talk about, look at all his PPR. Look at his catches. Yada yada yada. Look what Watson did last week. I'm sensing that Love and Watson have a connection, right? All that whatever, and then go steal Tank and Puka and love life in fantasy football.
Yeah, I love that. That's perfect advice. So lie to him, just not directly. Anything else to add, Bob?
Yeah.
I think I think it might be getting a little too greedy. Personally, I think if you could do Addison and Watson for Tank Dell, great. But yes, it's not a bad idea to see if he's willing to do a 3 for 2. But I think you might be getting a little greedy here. Just enjoy the Addison deal.
I would send one as a counter and the other one as a brand new trade, and make that person sit and stare at both of them. You win. I think you win either way, but you put both in front of them on the table at the same exact time. And that dude's going to be chewing his fingernails trying to decide, oh, my God, I could really get Thielen too? Joke's on you.
Sucker. Nice. Love that.
We win.
Love that. Good job. Dino,
Bob,
good morning.
The juices are starting to flow, Bob.
I like it. It was the singing intro that got you. It was a slow burn for you, but I like it.
Well, 8:30 Pacific time. The bourbon's starting to take hold. We're ready to go here.
Oh, so I am significantly hungover from last night. So the bourbon is sweating out right now. I will say it's a complete show when we get one more noise from Sky that indicates what we're talking about, and some type of emotional, fun, or really negative reaction from Derek. If we can get that in any show, we know we've jumped the shark at that point. It's over. We are the show, the preeminent talk show podcast as it comes to fantasy football start and sits. If we can elicit emotion from Derek.
It's Jenny Jones, Sally Jesse Raphael, Maury, Jerry Springer, Razzball. We're in the top 5, and we're climbing up. We're still younger, according to them, so I think we'll be all right. All right, boys. Bill Dino, good morning. This week is killing me. DK's on the bench. Oof, rough start. I need 2 of these guys. Wide receiver 2, flex PPR, Z-Moss. Is that new that's that new stuff in Hollywood, right? The Z-Moss that everyone's eating to
weight loss.
Count it. Z-Moss, Olave, Tank calf bugging me, Olave brain recovery. What are we doing here, boys? We need a wide receiver 2 and a flex in PPR. Who are we sitting out of these 3? Maddie, I'll start with you.
This is easy. I'm sitting Olave. It's only easy because I'm forcing it to be easy. Olave's in play, but I think Tank and Zach Moss are the plays.
Well, this isn't easy for me. If Bill's on, if he can maybe drop in who else he's starting. Because, boy, he's probably on tilt right now because, DK's 37 points are sitting on his bench that he's been staring at since Thursday night. So he's probably on tilt. And so if you just look at straight ceiling plays, I think the ceiling plays are going to be Olave and Tank. But, boy, you really don't want to keep Moss out of the lineup. So he must have a really strong lineup is what I'm getting at. If these 3 are – if he's got a running back 1 and 2 already, plus another wide receiver 1, his roster must be stacked. But if there's a way I can get Moss in, maybe maybe he's playing someone like Bijan in that wet field and with the Jets, and I might put Moss in instead of Bijan if that's who he's already starting. So kind of like to see what running backs he has out there. But again, going back to if I'm looking at ceiling plays, it's going to be Olave and Tank for me.
My sit of the week in my article was Tank Dell. So I'm sitting Tank Dell this week.
I don't even know who you are right now.
He's playing against Denver. He's dealing with a bum knee. They have all 4 wide receivers active for the first time since like week 1. So I think we could see him play more of a limited role playing with those other receivers because he's dealing with a knee. That being said, Dalton Schultz is out today, so maybe they do 4 wide receiver sets. I don't know, but I just think that with the knee, playing a tough Denver defense, and with more competition for targets, I'll fade him. I'm not fading him completely, but I will fade him for Olave and Zach Moss.
So Bob, rank the 4 Houston receivers because there's some teams out there that probably have 2 of the 4. So today only, how do you rank your 4? Was Schultz out against Denver with Surtain shutting down half the field theoretically?
Nico is the guy I talked about on our show Friday because of the fact that how you beat Denver's yards after the catch. They are one of the best defenses for players who have yak. And that's how Nico plays his game. He's top 10 in yards after the catch per reception this year. And Tank Dell is the air yards guy. So now he's dealing with a bum knee. He's the air yards guy playing against a defense who now takes away air yards a lot. Noah Brown is just like, I would say he's a fun name because he will probably be the slot guy. Woods, I'm not interested in. He'll be 4. So I would go Nico, Tank, Noah Brown, Robert Woods.
Thank you, Robert.
Shouts out to Robert Woods. You guys remember the legend of Robert Woods for a handful of years, man? Damn, that guy was money. I'm going to go with Tank Dell. 5 touchdowns in 5 games. If he's healthy, I'm playing him. I get it. But Nico Collins is going to get, I think the most of the coverage per usual, and CJ Stroud's just been on fire. So I'm going to go that direction.
Is this the come to earth game for Denver? Is this when Denver turns into Denver again?
Well, I don't know if they turn into Denver because they have just straight up become a better team, period. They might lose because Houston's a good team too, but they were bad for a month and a half to start the season. They're not anymore. They're playing well. They're beating good teams. They're winning big. They're winning close. I don't think they turn into a pumpkin, if you will. They might lose a game, but I think they're a good squad in general. This is probably a nice, low-key shootout.
Are you ready for fun with numbers? Fun with numbers, everybody? Thumbs up?
Of course.
Denver leads the NFL in takeaways. Over under, those takeaways equal 20.5. Over under, 20.5 forced turnovers for the Denver Broncos.
Total forced turnovers by the DST. I'll go over. I got him at 23.
You've got him at 23. Derek, you want to come in with a raw number, or are you just saying over?
22.
I don't know what the question. Sorry, I was zoned out. I was,
All right,
I was waiting.
So Derek,
Sorry.
You are exactly right. 22 is the number. I would have not had any clue that they were close to leading the NFL, nor that they had forced 22. But now we know. Fun with numbers, always good on this show.
Yeah, so just want to throwing it in here. So Bill answered my question, who else he was starting. He already started Pollard. So it's Montgomery versus the Saints or
AJ Brown and the Niners.
Titans.
Yeah.
That's really the question to me.
I'm going Zach Moss. I mean, it's just it's only it's his backfield. Yes, it's a tough matchup hypothetically, but again, we have to recalibrate our numbers here. The Titans have been good against running backs. They haven't been as good. The Seahawks were dominant for 6 weeks. They're not anymore. So we have to, kind of renegotiate that kind of stuff. So Zach Moss is automatic for me, and I'm going to go with Tank Dell. Any other comments on this one?
Yeah.
So it was 2-2, right? You're sitting. Actually, no. Everybody's sitting Olave, right? Besides me.
No, he's not.
No,
So it's 2-2.
I'm playing Moss over Monty and then playing the two wide receivers.
Whew.
And
Derek's getting he's getting crazy over there. All right. So good luck, Bill. I don't even know what the answer actually. I think you got to go with Sky and Matt. They are the majority. I think that's the way to go.
Love that majority rule. Love to see that. Thanks, Bill. Always a pleasure, bud. I'm sure we'll see you in a bit. Pat Daddy back with another one here, looking for the top kickers and DSTs right now, rolling out the Rams, Bucks, and Falcons. Bob, you handle the kickers. I'll get the DST.
Yeah,
And while you're looking
kicker.
Falcons, fire them up.
Yeah, well, for the kicker question this week, my K1 kicker is Will Lutz, Denver kicker in Houston, playing against those Texans. I also like Jason Saunders, if you can get your hands on him. Miami kicker going against Washington today. And my other streamer kicker is Blake Groupie, New Orleans kicker, going up against the Detroit Lions.
Kid's been awesome. Styles is right. Falcons are number 4 for me. If somehow Miami Dolphins are available, they're going up against Washington today. They're my top DST. They've been on fire the last couple of weeks, so I like them. Dallas has already played, of course. They were my second DST. And then the Pittsburgh Steelers against Kyler Murray. I just think they cause fits. They're at home, an indoor team going outdoors across the country. I like Pittsburgh a lot. But streamers, mostly highly available. Falcons, absolutely. Tampa Bay against Carolina. Jacksonville versus Cincinnati with Burrow out. And then you might even, I don't know, Jets are probably rostered, but they got the Falcons as well. Rams against the backup quarterback at home versus the Browns. So of these groups, I would go Falcons, Buccaneers, Rams.
Bob, where do you have Matthew Gay outdoors today?
Love him. He's up there too. I actually had him tied with Groupie. It's actually them two next to each other. So pick your poison.
If we're rostering Gay, would you pivot to Lutz if he's available?
I would go Lutz, yes.
Uh-oh. Look, sounds like a panel question live on the air. I know. I can tell by the tone of Matt's voice sometimes. He's reaching for that off-screen phone. Boom. Matty, let's see. Matty Gay with the number 7 rank and kicker 8 last week. He's been top 10 in 5 of the last 7 games. Top 10, top 8 kicker for Matt Gay there. So a lot of good options there.
Fun for numbers? Fun with numbers? Everybody ready?
Do it.
Over under 4.5. Matt Gay, 50+ yard field goals this year. Over under is 4.5.
He's a bomber. I'm going to go 6.
Yeah, I like that number as well. 6.
5.
7.
Ooh,
nice.
Yeah, he can. I like that. He's got some bombs. All right, let's get it moving here. We got Beach McDonald coming in hot. Hello, Razzball, back here today. Need one wide receiver, J-Mo Williams, Chris Godwin, Romeo Dobbs, full PPR. Thanks. Styles?
Bob, you said that the Saints defense is beat up. Is that on the back end as well? Whoa, excuse me.
I think he said decimated, which is worse than beat up.
Back end.
No Marshawn Lattimore, no Marcus May.
Oof. But the Honey Badger is floating around out there. Is that right?
Yeah, 6 score, 69.3 for Pasty this week.
Not nice for DS.
Not great. No bueno.
And Godwin, I know, is questionable but trending to play. Dobbs is not on the injury report, but going up against Kansas City. I don't love it in the least, but it only takes one Jameson Williams reception to go double digits in PPR. So as much as I want to start Dobbs, because I tend to lean towards my Packers at times, I think I would roll the dice on Jameson Williams this week.
Yeah, make it a double. Like I said earlier, I really expect the Lions to come out tossing the ball and stretching the field, and we know that's where Jameson is a threat, stretching the field. So I like him catching a bomb today.
Jameson Williams for me as well.
Yep, same Z's. I like it. Lock it up. Quad.
There it is, Bob. That's 3 of 4. All we
that?
need now is some emotion from Derek.
All right, let's get it going here. Love that. Love that. All right, folks, quick reminder here. In about 20 minutes or so, Bob's going to take the floor for about 10 to 12 minutes or so for his Sunday morning weekly injury breakdown. I always learn so much about this in general because we're not only talking fantasy players in this. it is also important you think about like the tertiary players that we don't talk about in fantasy, but impact the games. Offensive linemen, defensive linemen. We've talked a ton about the Saints secondary already. The Browns are a little bit beat up. Are those matchups we can exploit, or should we stay away from them? So stick around at 9 o'clock Pacific time, noon on the Eastern side. We'll have about 10 to 12 minutes of Bob Solo with the injury report. And Derek, I'm going to give you a 5-minute countdown, my man. And we'll get through just some general weather. We've talked about a little bit of it, but I'm going to give you 3 to 5 minutes to talk weather as well.
All right.
All right. Z Goody, good to have you back, buddy. Hey, dudes. I don't think I gave my answer. Oh, I did. We'll go with Jameson. PPR, Christian Kirk, Joshua Downs. Also, my running back, depleted. Javonte Williams or Tyler Algier. All right, so we got Christian Kirk or Dobbs first in PPR, and then we got Javonte or Algier. So let's answer both of these in one fell swoop. Gentlemen, we need a running back and a wide receiver. PPR.
Humble brag, I was much higher on Christian Kirk's draft slot than I was Calvin Ridley. So I love Christian Kirk. However, I believe that Minshew, Pittman, Downs, and Moss all have significant fantasy days today. I'm going to go with Downs at wide receiver. And Derek mentioned it earlier. It's a mutter type game.
His mutter was a mutter.
Yep, we're going to get to that in a minute. So I kind of like Algier over Javonte today. Maybe not long term, but today. So Downs and Algier for me.
Yeah, Downs as well for me. For all the reasons Matt said, I really like him today. But actually, I'm going to go in more volume for the running back play, and I want Williams. I mean, he's really getting the volume there, and the Broncos are at the Texans. Not the greatest matchup, but again, volume is going to be key for me versus Algier, certainly second hand behind Bijan. So even though I do expect a lot of rushes in that game, I want the guaranteed volume in Javonte.
Good news is Downs looked like he's back to normal playing last week. He was basically his numbers were down because he got that knee injury in practice and he was out for like 2 weeks, not playing a lot. Looks to be back up and running, so I'm going Downs over Kirk. And then I'm going to go Javonte as well. Something's going on. Arthur Smith is just fucking around again. Sorry for the F-bomb.
Whoa,
but Arthur
Bob,
Smith.
Bob.
Oh.
Dial it down a little bit.
Hey.
22nd timeout.
Oh, Tommy D is out, so I got to bring some of the enthusiasm to the freaking podcast. Anyway, and Cordell Patterson got like 8 carries last week. Like now it's a 3-man rotation. Like what are we doing here? So no thanks. I'm not dealing with that. Williams is fine. Houston's not a great run defense anyway, so I'll go Javonte and Downs.
Yeah, well, I promised my mom I wouldn't throw F-bombs around before 9 a.m. I do agree with Bob, and Algier certainly has toned it way back lately. Well, he hasn't. Arthur Smith has. And the Jets are very good, folks, against the run, period. This game's going to be in the slop. We're going to hear from Derek in a second. But again, indoor team, going outside, up east, and S-word weather. Don't love that. It's Bijan all the way here, and Javonte is going to be the volume play, but I think it's just a better matchup in general. And again, Broncos have been playing quite well. We don't know what we're going to get from the Falcons week in and week out. I like that, and I'm going to make it a quad box for the boys and go Josh Downs.
It's not a quad box because I took Algier, but I'm changing because you guys convinced me. Now it's a quad box.
Quad.
I thought we were doing the this will be the quad box one.
Yo.
That's right, folks. Another quad box from Razzball.
I can't hear it. Is it good? I can't hear it.
It is good. It is good.
It's sexy. I felt sexy the whole time.
It's one of Derek's beats that he makes, and those are the ones that he freestyles to in his free time, and he just threw us some of his old dusty beats.
That's
so
right.
we could work on that. So we appreciate that, D, always. All right, this one's coming from an anonymous listener. Purdy and Rain at Philly or Mahomes at Green Bay. Bob, I'm going to kick this one to you.
God, I'm going to go Purdy. I'm not worried about the rain anymore for the Eagles game. Another report came out this morning from one of their beat reporters that it's going to stop well before the game. You got to remember that game's a 4:00 Eastern game too, so there's a few more hours before that one kicks off. So I'm just going to ride with Purdy. It's going to be a fun game. It could be like the Josh Allen game we just saw last week. If you just look at what the Eagles have given up over the last month, it's ridiculous. I mean, outside of Patrick Mahomes, which makes no sense, everybody's been going off against the Eagles secondary, so I'm going to lean Purdy.
Y'all know I'm a Purdy guy. This is tough. I have Purdy in my top 6, but Mahomes is number 4 for me. And my concern here, first of all, Mahomes can play in the weather. Whatever elements Green Bay is going to give them, they have in Arrowhead as well. So I'm not worried about that. My concern is that it's game flow. I think Purdy numbers-wise will be fine. All the weapons are there. He's going to pass. He could be fine. But Philly can also eat clock. So this could just be a lot of run and chewing up, which might affect him a little bit. I'm going to stick with Mahomes. He's in my top 4 here. But I think Purdy's a great play over pretty much everyone else, I'll tell you right now. Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott already played and crushed, obviously. Tua at Washington, who's horrendous. Patrick Mahomes, and then C.J. Stroud at home versus Denver are the only quarterbacks I have ahead of Purdy, but Mahomes is one of them. Do either one of you gentlemen want to check in on this one?
No, well, for me, I would say I'd probably lean Mahomes as well, but I don't really mind either one of them, frankly.
Got it.
Well, my Razzball lineup is officially screwed because it doesn't know what to do.
Love to see that. Well, the good news is the Razzball lineup will figure out the best to do anyway. So you'll be fine. His mother was a mother. His father was a mother. Jefferson, good morning. Morning, fellas. Half PPR, flex position. Demont at the Aints. Puka at a beat-up Cleveland, or versus a beat-up Cleveland. Ford at the Yams. And Collins at the Denver Broncos. Styles?
I'm going to probably go against the entire panel here. I'm starting Jerome Ford to go for 85 and 2 touchdowns today.
Whoa.
The Joe Flacco effect. I get that.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. It's just kind of a.
They're going to have to protect against the deep pass.
For me, I'm going to lean Montgomery. There is some risk there. Again, I think actually Gibbs has a bigger day, but I'll lean Montgomery to get it. You know, if he falls into the end zone, he'll do it twice, in what we expect to be a high-scoring game. So, again, half PPR, so it normalizes the receivers. Give me Demont out of this group.
Yeah, Demont. He's number 2 in our matchup adjusted line yards metric versus New Orleans this week. No, Cam Jordan's playing, but he's banged up. They're banged up everywhere. New Orleans, I'm going to go with David Montgomery.
David Montgomery was limited at practice all week, but could be some veteran rest type stuff. He is good to go. New Orleans is not a great matchup, but it's a road game. I think, again, no weather. They're indoors. So I think this is kind of a get in, get out, stay healthy, and get the dubs for Captain Kneecaps. David Montgomery has scored a touchdown in every single game that he's played, except for one when he played the Tampa Bay Bucks, but he got hurt in that one. So I like Demont as well. My question is here. Michael DeGaggi. Is this Michael DeGaggi? Bob, this is an official.
I like it. All the Italians are just showing
really?
up. I love it. I appreciate it. Thanks for coming out, boys.
PPR.
Bobby Two Parms. That's your new name, Bobby Two Parms.
Oh
Hey,
my god, dude.
I'm a little sensitive to cheese, so I can't do the parm.
Oh,
Sorry.
Matt, I know it's horribly taboo. And I played baseball my whole life. I'm a nicknames guy. It's horribly taboo to like ask for a nickname. But if Bob's gonna pass up Bobby Two Parms, you can rework it if you want, but call me like Parmesan Sky or something. I'll take 2 Parms all day. I'll tell you right now.
I'll come up with something by the end of the show for you.
Like Sketty Sky would be fine.
Or
I don't
Sky
wanna put words
Majan.
in your mouth.
Sky
Sky
Majan.
Majan is nice.
Oh,
That's not bad.
that reason for pushback was something I didn't have to hear, though.
Scamajan. All right, I love that.
Hey.
All right.
All
We
right.
got Hollywood Brown, Brian Robinson. We got the Steelers and the Finns. You guys go ahead with the flex play, and I'll get on the DSTs, Matt.
I think that Washington is going to have to do everything in their power to try to slow the football game down. I don't know that they're going to be able to against Miami. I love Hollywood Brown. Derek, you and I rostered him, 2 or 3 years in a row. He did us well until the final year of his contract, in which he didn't really do much. But that was more about Kyler being injured than Hollywood himself. I just do not trust anymore Hollywood Brown. I trust McBride and somewhat Connor for Arizona. So I'm going to leave Brian Robinson in the fact that I think they're going to have to not only toss him the ball, but he's going to get a lot of volume on the ground. And I will defer defense, the real defensive answer, to Sky, but I'm probably leaning Miami. But let me look. Pittsburgh's got who?
Pittsburgh's got Arizona at home.
Arizona. Yeah, he's got the
Yeah,
two
probably
facing these
Miami.
two players. Yeah.
I'm probably going Miami and Brian Robinson.
Yeah, same for me. For the reasons Matt said, Brian Robinson, I expect that just what he said, if you're going to want to keep Tyreek Hill off the field, I think that's just goal number one today. And the only way to do that is to ground and pound. And, if the Commanders can do that, Brian Robinson's the guy to do it. So, give me Robinson as well.
Same. I'm going to go Brian Robinson against Miami, and then I'm going to go Dolphins defenses. I think they can create turnovers and also get some sacks against Sam Howell.
Bob, is there any chance you can look ahead for me? Do we definitely have Mika Fitzpatrick back for the Steelers?
He's
He
back.
is back.
He is back.
He's in.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
I thought so. Just want to make sure. Nothing else dropped. This is great, right? Miami Dolphins are my number one DST. The Pittsburgh Steelers are my number 3 DST. And the only reason they're not number 2 is because Dallas was number 2 and they're dominant. So you can't go wrong here. Something I like to do, and this isn't an automatic situation I have on lineups, but it is a swear, is if I'm playing a player, I like to not have a DST go up against that player, if possible, only because you kind of eat yourself either way. So I like the Miami Dolphins as a DST more so, and Hollywood Brown is still going to get his targets, might have a big player too. So I'm going to play Hollywood, and I'm going to play the Dolphins in this matchup there. But I like either way though. I don't trust Washington's offense. The Dolphins have been unstoppable the last 2 weeks. Now they played terrible opponents, but Washington is 1-2. Then they get the Tennessee Titans, and then they get the Jets again. Spoiler alert, and kind of a heads up to Tuesday's episode, everybody, just to give you a heads up to come and check us out on Tuesday evening as well. 6 p.m. Pacific time. We'll be in another quad box on Tuesday. We're going to be talking DSTs, matchups, and what to look forward to and getting ahead of the waiver wire on streamers, maybe stacking a DST or two heading into the playoffs of what those schedules might look like. Spoiler alert, Miami Dolphins are a pickup this week, but for the next 3 as well. I also like the Steelers if they're available. So go jump out there and get them for today, but also for the next couple of weeks if you can. And again, on Tuesday, we'll be knocking out a handful of those DST matchups as well. And actually, I have buried the lead long enough. We're going to get back to our questions in just a minute. But Derek, I'm going to let you go first, and we'll answer 2 more questions. And then, Bob, I'm going to turn it over to you as well. Derek, can we just get a general overview of any weather issues that are making you nervous here this morning?
Yeah, we talked a little bit already. There's, and I'm going to go backwards. We talked, it is snowing in Green Bay, and there may be some snow later, but overall, it's just going to be cold there. But I don't really expect. I mean, both teams know how to play in this, so I don't expect there really to be a lot of issue there. Bobby had already mentioned the rain in Philly is supposed to stop. Actually should be stopped by now. It might be overcast, maybe a little bit of rain, some breeze. But again, if the field was covered, which I believe it was, we shouldn't have too bad of an issue there. The other two games that I think there might be an issue is in New Jersey, the Falcons and the Jets, and then probably the worst is going to be for the Chargers and Patriots. A lot of rain is already falling, still falling. The main thing also is the added element with the wind. It's supposed to be, steady wind, gust up to maybe 17 miles an hour in New England, and about the same with the Jets. So some rain, wet field, and a little bit of wind. It really just kind of puts a little bit of damper on all four of these teams in my book. It won't be a mud bowl per se, but I think it will have some effect on these teams. Most likely, I mean, you can kind of argue this both ways, and on what you guys think. In weather games, they tend to say the offensive have the advantage because they know where they're going. The defenses are reacting. So does it actually help the offenses or not? But that's a question I think everyone has an opinion on. But either way, those two games are going to be a little sloppier. There's really no other major weather concerns anywhere else.
Love it. Thank you, sir. We're going to get two more questions in here, and then, Bob, I'm going to turn it over to you. Let's go to bodybuilding. Yes, Bob.
Just one thing about the weather. I think it's a good tiebreaker. I think if a guy has a tough matchup already and you're starting him and you're not sure if you should start him, and then there's bad weather, don't start him. But if he's an elite player in an elite matchup and we're talking a little bit of weather concerns, those guys probably are still going to be fine for fantasy football. But it's a great way to decide between another player and this player. But last year, I lost because I started Justin Fields in Chicago against the Buffalo Bills in bad weather. That's on me. Those might have been nice to pivot to Gino, but let's not hash the past and let's move forward, Sky. Back to you.
Man, Matt, can you imagine starting Justin Fields? Whew, rough.
Yeah. But
Yikes.
For the record, my preference is to always play on a wet field.
Okay.
All right, let's get this going here.
There's children on the stream.
Yeah.
How dare you? I checked off made for kids on the YouTube section.
I think we just need to eject Matt.
This gate has been locked.
Put him in a
This-
penalty
that's a
box.
lock. It's
A
over.
locked gate. Love to see that.
Five-
He's out.
We have
He's
Yeah,
out.
5-minute major.
one
I
thing.
thought the door to HR just opened.
I think it is. The door is wide open. They have an
I'll
open
see
door
myself
policy on Sunday mornings. Weather generally super high winds, outdoor obviously, super rainy, like monsoon downpour rain like we've seen a couple times over the years, or lots of snow that compiles and they can't keep up with it. Those are the only weather situations I'm concerned about.
Not high winds, insanely high winds, 30 mile per hour, like you get sometimes in Cleveland.
Mhm.
That stuff sucks too. I'm not trying to deal with that either.
No, but raining, windy, or a little bit of snow. These days with the NFL, man, these fields are so manicured and taken care of for the most part. If it's not accumulating in a volume they can't handle, I'm not necessarily worried about it. Generally, they swap out a ball every single play, basically. Matt, no comments, please. All right, let's go to Bodybuilding Weekly, and we got one more after this, and we're going to take a quick break. Bodybuilding Weekly, I think, is first time, long time, if I'm correct here. I need to sit either Mike Evans or Pittman in a non-PPR league. So remember, boys, we don't have points in this league, but we're still playing players. That's important to remember here. Mike Evans or Pittman need to sit. It feels like this is Pittman's week, so I'm conflicted. Additionally, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Derek the King Henry, and Zemos are already locked in. So let's go back to this here for Bodybuilding Weekly. Maddie, we'll go to you. Who are you sitting for Mike Evans and Pittman?
This, to me, is easy because of the format. The only statistic of the three that matter for wide receivers where Michael Pittman is out producing Mike Evans is catches by 22. Yardage, Mike Evans has him by about 100 and change, and touchdowns, he has him by 6. Pittman has to break a pass normally to score a touchdown, or they have to get in the red zone and he's going to have to get a jump ball. So Mike Evans is the classic non-PPR wide receiver that you always start. So give me Mike Evans.
Yeah, I hate to say I agree here, but
that's rude.
Yeah, well, there's the emotion you're going to get from me.
Plus,
after that last comment.
I was going to say that was a little feisty there, Derek. We're trying to keep it civil, but go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, and the reason for I really love Pittman and I love him today, but being in a non-PPR league, that really tends to balance it out. I mean, you can count on him for 60, 65 yards probably easily. I think he has a nice floor, but I think Evans' ceiling is better in this league. So, and then the other reason also is he already has Moss, and going back to what Bobby just said about tiebreakers, and this is one of the tiebreakers for me. I don't tend to, I mean, unless it's an obvious situation like CMC and Ayuk or something, but I don't really like to play a running back and a wide receiver from the same team because there's just such a potential there for things to go one way or the other. So that, with that factored in, again, if it's a PPR league, I'm going Pittman. I'm not even thinking twice about it. But just for those other reasons, I'm going to lean Evans here.
I'm just going to say with the matchup, say Pittman against Tennessee, they are a out funnel defense. They get destroyed on the outside. Pittman will be fine. J.C. Horn is returning this week, who's a stud cornerback for the Panthers, and C.J. Henderson will be back. So the Panthers secondary not only has been good this season, but they're healthy again. And early on this season, they were dominant against wide receivers before all the injuries started happening. So I'm going to just stick with the matchups and just say I'm going to go Pittman either way.
This is a really, really tough one. I have both of them in my top 6 in PPR. In non-PPR, they spread out a little bit more, but I like Styles' take off the bat. I like the stat comparison. That's what I'm going to do with similar. I think just apples to apples, Pittman and Evans are very much similar players. But obviously, Baker Mayfield is generationally talented more so than Gardner Minshew, as we all know. But also that offense, I just trust a little bit more. And I appreciate, Horn coming back, who is legit. But to me, Evans is just hyper-targeted and somewhat uncomfortable. And I think the volume will be there. So I'm going to go with Evans there. So I think that's a split, unfortunately. We got one more question for you. And then, Bob,
no, I don't think it was a split. I think it was 3 of us with Evans.
3-1.
Yep. And this question's for you. What has Mike Evans not done yet this season?
He's not at 1,000 yards, is he?
He has not gone for 202 yet.
No, but how about this, Matt? This is really going to blow this whole conversation up. No, he hasn't, but he did go for 6 for 143 and 1 against the Tennessee Titans, who Michael Pittman has today. So try not to bring up stats like that after I've already made a decision. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not here for logic. It's 100% emotion, maybe a number or two, and we'll go from there.
So I have a nickname for you to consider right before we break out of here. I know.
Sure. Hold on. Let me.
Going to come on.
Let me write it down.
Yep.
Go ahead.
You ready?
Yeah.
How does Canolgi sound? Got to say it quick. Sky Canolgi.
G for Guasco. Cannoli's top 3 dessert all time. Easy. Canolgi. Sky Canolgi.
Sky Majan? Like, really? We're gonna pass Sky Majan.
I'm not gonna. Bob.
I'm upset. I'm upset we're even considering this right now.
We're just having a conversation.
I hate that.
Bob wouldn't even take Bobby Two Palms. How do you not take Bobby Two Palms?
That's an L. I'm not gonna lie, man. With all this hype with Tommy D running the streets out here, you're gonna pass up like Bobby Two Palms. I mean, that's pretty rough.
And the irony is he's lactose intolerant. That's why it's even better.
Bro,
I guess actually I didn't think about that because in the old like mafia movies they talked about how like they would make it the irony. I get it. Okay, all right, I'll take it. I'll take it now. I like that thought process. I like that process.
And Styles, I'm going to accept mine as well. I think you're just immediately 2 for 2 here on the nicknames. So
yeah, we'll go Derek Two Thumbs.
Nice. Well, for now, keep it in the family. We'll see what happens. All right. Okay, folks. We're going from Goodfellas to Quad Fathers, if you will.
Nice.
And we're going to keep it hot here with my man. This is Billiam Jones. I'm sorry, Matt. Who is this?
This is Billiam Jones. Who?
That's correct. Billiam Jones. Need a flex.
We got emoji.
Oh, yeah. Always hot with the emojis. Bob, you're on the clock in 42 seconds. Billiam Jones needs a flex in PPR. We got Warren, Rice, and Dortch. Before we start, everyone just pause for a second. Rice is automatic. Dortch, it's an owl, but I get it. I'm gonna go Cardinal, and I'm gonna let that go because you only have so many emojis. Warren and the avocado, I am struggling with. I have to be honest. Bob, you don't get. I mean, you're
Jalen Warren, Pittsburgh Steelers.
Pitt, yeah.
Pitt. There's a
I'll
pit
take
in the avocado.
Nailed it. Oh man, that's deep. Well done. All right, Styles, you can kick this one off.
And by the way, where is it?
There it is. Look at that. A Billiam Jones custom tattoo. Epic.
For me, I want it to be Warren. I'm going to stick with Warren. I think Rice is a really good play, and I'm not probably leaning towards Dortch. Not with Hollywood and McBride in for today, which I think Bob will confirm. So I'm going to go Warren based on volume. Now, we mentioned that it was going to be Warren Pickens over Najee and Deontay last week. We missed on that, but have you all recognized why? Warren fumbled really early. He fumbled. Here comes Najee. Najee had a good game. I still think Warren's the starter. I think he's the better play. If you don't feel comfortable with that, like you don't feel safe because Najee did what Najee did last week, 99 and a touchdown, then I'm perfectly fine with Rashee Rice. It is PPR. Rice has only had one really, really good PPR game. Derek, did we start him that week? No, we didn't.
No.
Did we lose because of it? Yes, we did. So I'm going to stick with Warren. I perceive his volume to get back to what it should be against Arizona. And by the way, they're probably going to want to rest Najee as if they believe he's needed down the line. So give me Warren slightly over Rice. I'm not paying attention to Dortch.
Two thumbs. Yeah, he's got it right. William Jones, he's got these in the right order. Warren, Rice, and Dortch. I'm playing them in that order. So
don't overthink it. It's Jalen Warren. He had 16 touches last week. Yeah, he had the fumble. Cincinnati game didn't go his way, but 16 touches against Arizona. I'll take that all day.
So all three of you guys are with Warren currently. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Rashee Rice going up against the Green Bay Packers. And since week 6, they've given up the 11th most fantasy points to wide receivers. Maybe not the best weather. We'll see what happens. Last week, he was wide receiver 3 in PPR. Before that, you ready? 43, 33, 50, 14, 34, 23, 60, 41, 90, and 34. Don't love the consistency. It's a big week. I like that against the Raiders, who are lame. We all know that. Big game against Buffalo coming up next week. But for this week, let's go with the avocado pit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're going to go with Warren to make it a.
That's right, folks. Another quad box.
All right, folks. We're going to take a break here. Billiam Jones, great to see from you, buddy. We have plenty of questions coming back here. Richard, Patty, we got more questions from Bill Dino, who's potentially also calling out us for being hungover. We'll leave that there. We got Josh, we got Micah, we got Scott Eminger, Bob, in the notes here coming up in a little bit. Micah, Jake, Cosmo, we got a bunch of y'all still ready to go. Daniel's in the feed per usual. We're going to get to all of the rest of your questions. Of course, you can hit the super chat function if you'd like to. If you got to get your errands done for the misses before the games kick off, please feel free to drop us $1, $20, 650,000, whatever it is worth it to you. Feel free to drop in the chat here, and there should be a little icon on your YouTube if you'd like to participate. That helps us. We also partake to the show. And Bob, what I'd like you to do is kick off your injury segment. We jump off. Give a shout out, please, to our friends at Good Sports so that people know where their money is going. We appreciate supporting the youths. Matt, myself, and Derek will be back in about 10 to 15 minutes, folks. Bob, the floor is yours for our injury report. We're going to get to the rest of your questions in just a few minutes. It's all you, boss.
Yeah, a lot of injuries coming up on today's show, folks. So to stick with us, like Sky brought up earlier, these injuries are not just your wide receiver, running back flexes. We talk injuries to the defense. We also talk about one of our partners, SixScore.com. Actually, if you go to Sports Injury Central, they have a great tools to help you win and get an edge on injuries. And if you use the code Razzball for one of their great tools that they have over there, you'll get 20% off. So go check it out, SixScore.com. I also want to promote Good Sports. Good Sports is a charity organization that helps kids in underprivileged communities play sports. So they donate sporting equipment. What Razzball has done over the last few years is they donate 10% of any dollar that is donated to us from you guys for answering your questions. We donate 10% to Good Sports. So we do appreciate anything you can throw to us, but we really like this program. It is fantastic. It helps kids all across the country play sports. All right, let's jump into the injuries. We got a lot to cover today, folks. So let's get into it. All right, Colts versus the Titans, the first game we're going to talk about today. Of course, Jonathan Taylor, the major news, immediately jumps Zach Moss. The news came out earlier today from Ian Rappaport that he might be out 3 to 5 weeks. So Jonathan Taylor might not even be back for your fantasy playoffs. Zach Moss automatically rolls into an RB2. He was an RB1 early on this season without Jonathan Taylor. Juju Brents, one of the starting outside cornerbacks, is still out for the Colts today. Look for DeAndre Hopkins to have a solid matchup, but do remember that Treylon Burks is back this week. So Treylon Burks, of course, has not played well all season, but is a name to monitor, especially if you're in a deeper format, if you want to plop him on your bench. Guy's a first-round pick, solid talent. Let's see if he can get healthy and play well with Will Levis down the stretch. Ryan Kelly is back in. This is going to be the first time in nearly 2 months that the Colts will have all-star 5 starting offensive linemen for this game. So I do like that for Zach Moss. I do like that for Gardner Minshew. Now, the Titans have been a little bit more vulnerable against the pass. So if you're looking for a start streamer, Gardner Minshew makes for an interesting option this week going up against that Titans secondary. Let's jump down to the next game, the Lions versus the Saints. A lot of injuries in this one, folks. The big one for the Lions defense is Alex Anzalone. He is the star middle linebacker for the Lions. That should be another feather in the cap for Alvin Kamara in that running game, but also Alvin Kamara in the passing game as well. Marshawn Lattimore is out today he's on IR now as well for the New Orleans Saints. Pete Werner, star middle linebacker for them, is also out today as well. And Marcus May, a lot of injuries on the back end of that defense for the Saints. I like Jared Goff this week as a top 10 quarterback in that game. Look for Amon-Ra St. Brown to absolutely smash. Get him in your DFS lineups in this matchup with those injuries up the middle, especially for that Saints defense. Chris Olave officially in past concussion protocol. Rashid Shaheed is out. I love Chris Olave this week against that Detroit Lions secondary that's been really struggling. Look for Olave to be a great DFS play as well, with Shaheed and Mike Thomas out for this game. Kendra Miller is also out again today. Jamal Williams is your handcuff. Remember, it's handcuffing season, folks. We're all excited. It's getting cold outside. Make sure you handcuff your starting running backs. You don't want to be the Jonathan Taylor owner without Zach Moss. So make sure you get Jamal Williams if you're the Alvin Kamara owner. He's the handcuff while Kendra Miller has been dealing with a lot of injuries. Now let's jump down to the Texans and Broncos game. Noah Brown is back in, including Tank Dell as well. This is going to be the first time that all 4 starting wide receivers for the Texans are active today since week 1. And that game, Tank Dell was the backup, but of course, Tank Dell has earned his starting role. Tank Dell is dealing with that knee injury, so look for him maybe to be on a limited snap count in this game. But overall, we're going to be kind of waiting to see how they shake this out. Robert Woods would most likely be the guy who sits, but he's entrusted in the run game. Don't know if he sits, so just keep an eye on that. Noah Brown is definitely just a stash for now. I like Nico Collins as a top option. The good news for these guys is Dalton Schultz is out today. That's the tight end. If you're looking for a deep dart throw, Brevin Jordan is the guy you want to play. The Broncos are very susceptible to tight ends. Brevin Jordan is someone that does get a lot of the passing game work. So if you're looking for a DFS dart throw this week and a cheap buy down option at tight end, Brevin Jordan would step in there as well. It's also Titus Howard, the right tackle for the Texans, is out. We'll see how that impacts that running game and also the protection for the Texans, but that is notable for down the stretch as well. Also, Jimmy Ward, star safety, is back this week for the Texans. That should be good news for the back end going up against that Broncos passing game as well. Let's jump over to the Chargers versus the Patriots. Jazeer Taylor, one of the top outside cornerbacks for the Chargers, is out today. Now, we are a little bit worried about the rain in that game, but if you're looking for someone deeper name, I like Devontae Parker this week with all the injuries with the Patriots wide receivers. Boutte and Douglas are both out today for the Patriots. That means that Devontae Parker could get 6 to 7 targets. We'll see what the quarterback situation is. It's probably best to just fade that matchup completely. The quarterback, Malik Cunningham. We also have Bailey Zappi probably starting today. We're not sure exactly how they're going to mix that up. Probably best to just look at the defenses, play the Patriots, play the Chargers, but like Ramondre Stevenson with Joey Bosa out as well for the Chargers. Let's jump down to the Cardinals versus the Steelers. Michael Wilson out. Marquise Brown is in. So if you're playing against the Steelers today, I'm not really too excited overall for Marquise Brown dealing with the knee injury. The Steelers secondary has turned it around a little bit on the outside. They are a slot funnel defense. So Rondell Moore and company, maybe Trey McBride is probably the best play out of that group. But Kyler Murray on the road against Pittsburgh is a low-end QB1 at best in that matchup. We also have Kaiser White, stud little linebacker, is out today for the Cardinals. Antonio Hamilton, Starling Thomas, both out. Those are two cornerbacks for the Cardinals defense. Listen, Deontay Johnson and George Pickens have a prime matchup this week. Kenny Pickett looked a lot better last week under Mike Sullivan. So I do think that you could start both wide receiver threes in this matchup. I also absolutely love Jaylen Warren and Najee Harris in this lineup. On the defensive side for the Pittsburgh, Micah Fitzpatrick is back in. Martavius Adams has actually been ruled out. Last minute change there. So that is notable. Micah Fitzpatrick being back should really help that defense for Pittsburgh, a top 5 option this week. Jalen Phillips jumping over the Miami Dolphins Commanders. Jalen Phillips is out today. That's one of the best pass rushers for the Miami Dolphins, but still shouldn't be a major issue for that Dolphins defense with a very, very, turnstile offensive line and Sam Howell turnover pro and sack prone. So I still like the Miami Dolphins defense. Let's jump over to the Commanders side of the ball. We have Emmanuel Forbes, outside cornerback, is out today. Listen, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, those guys we talked about on our Friday show, both great DFS plays this week, both must starts. Also, James Smith-Williams, if you don't know who that is, that's the guy who's supposed to replace Chase Young on the defensive end. They are very depleted. You got to love the Miami offense in this game against the Commanders. Let's jump over to the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Bucks game. Tommy Tremble and Hayden Hurst are out today. Steven Sullivan is the tight end 3 for the Panthers. I bring this up because Tampa Bay has been very vulnerable to tight ends this season. Another DFS start throw, Steven Sullivan, but I think that Adam Thielen is a smash start in this week. We talked about that on the Friday show. The 2 tight ends are out. There's a lot. The Bucks have been, very vulnerable on defense. They have a couple injuries we'll talk about in just a second, but there's a lot of injuries on that Bucks defense. Adam Thielen, I think, is going to benefit. He's in my DFS lineups this week, so I like him a lot as well. We also have a couple injuries to the guards, both guards, Austin Corbett and Chandler Z. I'm not even going to bother trying to say his last name. Zavalia are both out. That means both starting guards for the Panthers are out today against that Bucks run defense. Honestly, if you can get away from Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard, sure, go for it. But Chuba Hubbard is interesting. We'll talk about that in a second. Why? CJ Henderson and JC Horn are back this week against the Tampa Bay Bucks. Now, those guys are the starting outside cornerbacks for the Panthers. That's good news for their pass secondary. It's been tough all year. Mike Evans is still a start. We talked about that on the Friday show. Still like him as a wide receiver too. Probably fading Chris Godwin in that matchup. Von Bell, one of their top safeties, is out. So they're not fully back to full strength, but the Panthers corners are back. Let's jump to the Bucks side of the ball. Not only are the 2 starting linebackers, Levante David and Devin White, out, but Dennis, who's their backup linebacker, out. So they're going to be down 3 starting linebackers and Jamel Dean. Now, that's why I really like that middle matchup for Adam Thielen playing the slot a little bit against those guys, especially against a team that plays a lot of zone in the Carolina Panthers. But if you are looking for a reason to start, Chuba Hubbard is the primary passing down back for the running back position for the Panthers. I do think he'll get a couple catches this week with all the injuries at linebacker. And Jamel Dean being out should throw a feather in the cap for maybe a Jonathan Mingo, but I think Adam Thielen is the play in that matchup. Let's jump down to the Eagles and 49ers game. We're all excited for this one. Obviously, Dallas Goedert will remain out for this game. Look for A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith to dominate against a very vulnerable 49ers secondary this season. Fletcher Cox is the only player we don't have a game time. He's a game time decision. But if he's out, just another reason to like Brock Purdy and CMC. Nakobe Dean is out, and that's notable because Zach Cunningham is also out, who's the guy who replaced Nakobe Dean as one of the top linebackers for the Eagles. So that that linebacker position will be weak. Look for CMC to capitalize in that matchup. Let's jump down to the Browns versus the Rams. We have Joe Flacco started today, folks. If you look back at the Jets game, 3 of the 4 games last year that Joe Flacco started for the Jets, he had 285 passing yards. So I think this is better news for Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore. I do think he does offer a little more passing volume, but if you look at the games that DTR played, they did throw a decent amount with him as well. Just expect a little more efficiency with Joe Flacco. Denzel Ward is out on the other side of the football. That's good news for Puka Nacua. Now, the Browns secondary did get moved around. Greg Newsome, the slot quarterback, moved out wide. They used one of their safeties to play the slot. I actually think Cooper Kupp is the player that gets the matchup bump because they had to move Newsome to the outside, which is going to help their perimeter defense without Denzel Ward. So call it a hunch. I think a Cooper Kupp game is coming in this matchup at home against the Cleveland Browns due to Denzel Ward being out. Let's talk about the Chiefs and Packers. We have Mecole Hardman out today. He's now on IR as well. We are still waiting for the final news of Kadarius Toney. He should be back this week. Jerick McKinnon is out. Now look for that game, by the way. It's a Sunday night game. We know the Chiefs are playing in Lambeau. We know it's snowing all day today. We know it's going to be 30 degrees. I really like Isaiah Pacheco. Pacheco should be good. He played a lot last week without Jerick McKinnon. Get Jerick McKinnon in your lineups in a plus matchup against the Green Bay Packers. I like him a lot. Let's jump over to the Packers side of the football. No Aaron Jones. This has got to be an A.J. Dillon week, right, folks? I mean, he's playing against the Chiefs, a run funnel defense. A.J. Dillon with a big body, 30-degree weather. You got to like A.J. Dillon as an RB2 option against those Chiefs in this matchup. Now, some reinforcements coming back. Darnell Savage, the safety for the Packers, will be back this week. That should really help the Packers on the back end, kind of getting healthier on defense as well. Let's jump down to the Bengals and Jaguars game. We'll see what this means, but Cam Robinson, the right tackle for the Jags, is out. Left tackle for the Jags is out for the season. He's on IR now. We'll see how that impacts the Jags against the Bengals this week, but that's something that we'll bring up for next week. T. Higgins in. Travis Etienne is expected to play. That's good news for your fantasy lineups. You should play both. Play Travis Etienne. T. Higgins, probably not startable because of the quarterback situation, unfortunately, but maybe if you could stash him, see how that plays out, but he's probably a drop now because Jamar Chase should get most of the looks. And finally, Cam Taylor-Britt is out. That's one of the top cornerbacks for the Bengals. That means that the Jags perimeter, Zay Jones and Calvin Ridley get a bump. All right, let's jump down to some notable 6 scores before we close out the show here. All right. This is important. 6 score is sportsinjurycentral.com. These are cluster injuries. This is what you guys need to know heading into your lineup sets. These are injuries by the entire defense. So anything below 80 is when you start seeing impacts to play. So the Commanders' pass D is 79.5. That's why we like the Miami Dolphins in DFS this week. Cardinals' run D, 6 score is 70. Going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers, God, Jalen Warren, Najee Harris, you got to love that. Steelers run D is starting to get a little healthier. As you can see on the screen, 67.2. Now it's up to 74.1. We really like the Steelers as a top 5 defense this week. Patriots pass D, 6 score, 66.9. But like we talked about a little bit earlier, weather could impact that game. Might be best just to fade those matchups if you can. Justin Herbert probably is not a QB1 this week. Keenan Allen's also dealing with a knee injury as well. Only a 6 score below 70 himself. He's probably the guy. Austin Eckler probably could have a really nice day in that as well. All right, let's jump down to the Saints pass. 6 score 69.3. That's big news for Jared Goff and company. I'm juggling question. We'll probably have the guys answer. Golf first, Purdy, myself. Probably still leaning Purdy, but you got to like the fact that they're dealing with so many injuries on the Saints pass D. Buccaneers D, very banged up, going up against the Panthers today. If you're looking for streamer options, we probably lean the Falcons over the Bucks, but they are dealing with a lot of injuries as well, so that could be impactful. Panthers D's below 77.6 as well, banged up front. I like Rachaad White. He's in my DFS line this week, probably my start of the week at the running back position. Browns pass D's below 80. We talked a little bit about the injury to Denzel Ward and company. That's good news for Matthew Stafford. I think Joe Flacco playing in that game as well should offer more volume overall. And finally, the Eagles' run D is extremely banged up going up against that 49ers team. Look for CMC absolutely smash. Let's bring the guys back in. We're going to talk a little bit about more of your start sits. That's all we got. Sky, back over to you.
Yeah, I love it. Let's get this started here. We got a super chat right off the bat. Somebody bring that up for us, please. We got 2 of them, I believe. Thank you very much. Let's get into these here quick. Thank you very much. First of all, before we get into this, Scotty, great to see the name in the chat, my man. It's been a while. I think you were in maybe early in the season once or twice, but long time. Scott's been supporting Bob and my shows for a couple years, and just want to give some love to Scott. Always a big supporter of what we're doing here. So thank you so much, bud, and really always appreciate your contributions. Go ahead, Bob.
Shout out to the Fantasy Focused YouTube channel. Those were the days, man. Those were fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, big ups to our boys, Ryan and Bucky. All right, what's up, Jets? Super chats are back. Love to see that. So again, folks, the reason it's green, Scotty put in the $4.99. Y'all can see there a $5 contribution to the show again. 10% of that goes right away to Good Sports. The other 90% goes to Matt and his Christmas fund, but we usually don't say that publicly. We appreciate the contribution, Scott, always, and that jumps your question immediately to the top. So if anybody else would like to contribute to the show, we're happy to do that for you as well. PPR League, boys. Flex spot. My man knows the rules here. Well done. Nico Collins, Devin Achane, D-Hop, not I-Hop, Derek. This is D-Hop, DeAndre Hopkins. 2 thumbs up. Love that. Nico Collins, Devin Achane, D-Hop. PPR League, we need a flex spot. Styles, start with you.
I think the right answer might be Achane, but I am very leery of what I saw from him before he got in, or when he came back from injury and immediately got injured again. That's where everybody wants to be. Everybody wants to be on the Achane train. I'm going to pass. I'm not starting D-Hop. It's all Nico Collins for me for Scott today.
Yeah, Nico Collins for me as well. With the knee injury, coming back from the knee injury, I know he doesn't have the injury designation, but between potentially sloppy field in Washington, historically Washington's field has been the worst in the league. I know they've made some improvements over the last few years, but between that and the fact that I expect the Dolphins to get up big, which means to me that, why run Achane out coming back from his knee injury on a potentially sloppy field in a game that doesn't matter. So I think he probably doesn't get the full workload, or there's a chance anyway. And, I really want a piece of that Texans offense. 47 points is the total combined score in that one, which was one of the highest this week. So give me Nico Collins.
Going Devin Achane. Some of the injury docs, first of all, SixScore.com has him at 86. So that's pretty, that gives me a little confidence that they feel confident in his knee. And also another guy, Deepak, shout out to Deepak. He does great work. He actually is betting his over for rushing yards today. So he's confident, both SixScore injury. I'm just going to roll with Devin Achane. I think he's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I agree with Bob, and certainly reluctantly. I definitely understand where you guys are coming from, but I agree with Bob. Here's the deal. When Achane's been in the lineup, he is absolutely dominant, and we know with his speed and that offense and Washington just not being good, it could take 2 or 3 plays. This kid could have 85 and a touchdown or 2 on 12 snaps. So I love the explosiveness in this game, and if they do what we think they're going to do and get up big early, Raheem Mostert's not 100%. Jeff Wilson's my guy, but he's not explosive. So I think he could have a little garbage time as well there. So I'm going to go Achane also. Scott, Great to hear from you, buddy. Thanks so much, man. Murph coming in hot as well. Long time also here. We appreciate you guys coming over the super chats, man. This really is appreciated. And I know that our good sports folks are really appreciative as well. Thanks for all the help this year. Not a problem, brother. We're here for you. Great show. Wishing you all a blessed and peaceful holiday season. You too, brother. Thank you so much. Running back, flex. Kamara, Kyron Williams, Gibbs, Monty. So both Lions. My running back is CMC already. Thanks again. So we got a running back and a flex, Kamara, Kyron, one of the Lions, or both. And he's already starting CMC. Murph always has the dopest lineups. So we like that right off the bat. You got a ton of starters here already. But cream of the crop here. Let's make it happen, Matt.
Yeah, let me invest, if you will, in some Murph 22 fantasy lineups. This is ridiculous.
Murph is on my fantasy team. Like, I get credit for his lineup. You know what I mean? So, like, we're in good standing here. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? So remind me later. I'll tell you about a playoff, real playoffs, NFL playoffs lineups that I did. We actually had a league years ago, and the coach was worth 10 points the week you played him. You could only play the person once during the playoffs. But it's a cool format. We'll talk about it later if we have some downtime. For me, I love that he has Kyron off the IR, that he grabbed him off the waiver wire. I don't know that he's the guy this week, but boy, he sure could be again. For me, I think Kamara is an absolute smash play. And as Derek noted earlier, by the way, how do we feel about Derek the Book? Which is
the book's okay. I like the two thumbs. I'm a two thumbs guy.
Yeah.
That's just my vote.
I'm going to overrule the book. Yeah, give me two thumbs until you come up with something better.
How about DFS Derek? I came up with DFS Derek. I don't like that one either. And in Italian, a nickname for Derek is Direzio. So we're going to go with Derek. Or you know what? We can't do Bobby Two Palms and Derek Two Thumbs. We're just going to go Derek Thumbs or Derek the Thumb. Anyway, back to Murph. I'm going Kamara, and I think Gibbs. I think Gibbs is going to have a better game than Monty, but the smart play might be Kamara and Kyron. So let me flip it to Derek. Kamara for sure for me. If I had Kyron, I'd probably start him, but boy, I sure love Gibbs today.
Yeah. Do we know if this is a PPR or not? Because that's going to really affect my decision.
Assuming Murph plays in the only league that we play in, Murph is adept at fantasy choosing. It's got to be PPR.
That's my thought as well.
I think there's very few people that play in standard. So it's half PPR, full PPR. Do you think it would change your answer from half to full?
It probably would, because in a PPR I'm going Kamara, no question. In a half PPR, I might go one of these other running backs. But so assuming a full PPR, I'm going to hit Kamara. He's getting at least half, if not more, of his total yards through the passing game. Add in all those receptions, and we already know they're down a few wide receivers there anyway. So I expect Kamara to be very active in the passing game today. Probably gets in the end zone as well. So yeah, in a PPR for sure, I'm playing Kamara, and then I'm also playing Gibbs for much the same reason. He's grabbing a lot of balls, and he's such a dynamic player. And
easy.
Derek grab balls.
We don't grab a lot of balls.
Hey, you guys wanted emotion. You're getting emotion.
Oh, Derek's thumbs.
Oh shit. All right.
So yes. So for all the reasons I said, I'm going Kamara and Gibbs, assuming this is a PPR. Yes.
I'm going to go Monty and Kamara. I think D-Mont's the lead guy, and he's got a good match. The defensive injuries to the New Orleans Saints just means that the Detroit should be able to move the football. D-Mont will find the end zone. I like D-Mont over Gibbs. And then I'm going to go Kamara. I just think that game flow and everything else involved against Detroit, I think Kamara will be fine. So I'm going to go Kamara and Monty.
Yep, same with me. Matt, how about for Derek, we can go D's thumbs. It's kind of like, never mind.
Yeah.
I want to throw a couple more in here. Murph had a couple more questions, so we're going to continue on. 1 second for Frank. Let's get this done here for Murph. He had a few more going on here. Wide receiver flex, Olave, Brees, Cooper, Higgins. Thanks, guys. Wide receiver, 1 flex. I'm going to start
I'm out
2
on
here with
Cooper.
Bruce.
I'm out on Cooper. I'm out on T. Higgins. He's pissed us off. I think we've agreed we're all out on that. So by a process of elimination, give me Olave and Brees Hall.
Okay, Matt. He also asked us to rank the 3 receivers specifically for the week. So give us your answer and then rank the 3 receivers quick.
Olave, Higgins, Cooper.
Yeah, I'm typically going to be out on Cooper, but this week I'm not. And the reason for that is Joe Flacco in the 3 games he started early this year, 2 of those he threw the ball over 50 times. And so if you're and he hasn't played much since. So if you're coming into a lineup, you haven't played in a while, who are you going to throw the ball to on this Cleveland team? You're going to throw it to Cooper. I expect him to get 15 to 18 targets today, because I expect Joe to go over 50 again. So I'm going to take Cooper, but that's going to be my second choice. Olave will be my first. So ranking the receivers, Olave, Cooper, and then Higgins. And for the first question, again, it's going to be Olave and Cooper for the wide receiver and the flex. And then Higgins is a distant third. And I'm not playing Brees Hall.
I forgot that it's Jake Browning for Cincinnati, and I forgot how much I hate Higgins. I'm with Derek. Olave, Cooper, Higgins in that order.
I'm going with Derek, Olave, and Cooper this week. And then I'm going to rank it Olave, Cooper, Higgins.
I agree with Bob, and pretty much only because Braylon Edwards is not in the lineup today for the Browns. So I'm going to go ahead with Amari Cooper there as well. And Murph, we appreciate you, buddy. Thanks again so much for the contributions, and best of luck the rest of the way. Now, Frank, where are you here? Great thing you guys are doing, helping the kids. So Frank just dropped a contribution, and boys, please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't even see a question here from Frank.
Yep.
Purdy and Goff, thank you. I was like, man, Frank just over the top. I love that. So Frank, first of all, thanks for the contribution, bud. Really appreciate that. Always good to get back to the youth. Thank you very much. Brock Purdy or Jared Goff? We've been talking about this one, right? Styles has a similar question.
I have to bow out.
Okay.
I have to bow out. I might have a similar issue. So I'm curious to see what you guys say.
Love it. Matt, we'll start with you here. Brock Purdy or road golf, but indoors, or Brock Purdy across the country in hostile Philadelphia?
So as a reminder, Goff had 4 turnovers against Green Bay, and he lost. I think
was that a completely unprompted shot at Salvage here, who hasn't even chimed in today?
We haven't seen him, so I can't speak to him directly. So maybe.
Right.
I will say I think Goff has a bounce back, but I think more of that damage for the Lions is going to be done. Amon-Ra is going to get his. He always eats. I think it's going to be a little bit more Gibbs and Monty. Goff will have his numbers today, but I think Purdy, and mind you, Frank, I'm going to start Purdy in a must-score lots of points league over Patrick Mahomes. So give me Purdy over Goff. I'm all in on Purdy today.
Like Bobby, I've got a similar issue here. It's not with Purdy, but it's Goff and Herbert, and I've been going back and forth on that all week. And for some of the reasons we talked about today, I'm going to go with Goff. So in this case, I am as well. If there's any game, and I kind of said this earlier, if there's a game that's a get-right game for the Lions, it's this one. And, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they put up 40-plus points today. Again, just to build that bring the confidence back to the locker room. They're playing indoors, so the road Goff thing is less of an issue for me. I am going Goff here, and I'm going Goff in my lineup as well.
I gotta tell you, when I was
Bob,
looking at this one too, I hate everybody. So here's kind of the thought process. Like, the problem with the 49ers is that, like, some weeks, he'll turn, instead of pitching it forward, he'll turn and hand it to Debo. Debo runs for a touchdown, and then CMC got 2 touchdowns, and Purdy gets 11 fantasy points because they get all their production on the ground. And then Goff, you just brought up the 4 interceptions. He still had like 22 fantasy points because he ends up throwing a bunch. against the Packers. So, I just think that it seems like to me that Purdy you kind of accept the fact that there's going to be weeks where it flips. Next thing you know, he's throwing for all the touchdowns. And I think that the 49ers offense is that good. So I always say never. Ever see the movie with Draft Day when he folds up the piece of paper and it said player no matter what? That's how I feel about Purdy sometimes. So like Purdy no matter what. I just call it a day, because he's got 30-point upside every week.
How about that? How about Mr. Irrelevant, the auto start in fantasy football? I got to love that. Bob, I don't disagree with you in the 49ers stylistically, but do you see them? Yes, Christian McCaffrey, Debo are different animals, but do you see them just running the ball all day on Philly?
No.
So they're going to have to throw whether it's successful or not eventually. And, Philly's probably going to score their points too. So I'm going to stick with Brock Purdy here. The Saints have been very good. They just have. And I know they're beat up in the secondary, but, Saints are a solid team at home. So I'm going to stick with Brock Purdy there. Might be sloppy for both guys, to be honest with you, but I'm going to stick with Brock Purdy.
And my 2 cents for Frank's $20, I don't think Frank makes a wrong decision here.
I agree.
Those 2 quarterbacks in his league at 6 points per passing touchdown, the margin of difference is probably going to be significantly slim at the end of the day.
I hope you're right, because that has not been true the last 4 weeks. It's been devastatingly wrong. Like Goff and Purdy have been like this every week. Like there hasn't been a week where they're both at 30. It's like one guy gets 25 and the other gets 12. And it's like, oh my God. So Frank, look at me right here. We're doing this together. Okay. Maybe I should go Goff because you'll probably do better. I think I should just sacrifice myself for Frank. I think I'm going to do that.
Bob, you do have a nice track record of starting your guys and then them bombing or sitting somebody great and then they go off. So, hey, man, Niners could use this W. So if you wouldn't mind, starting Goff for us, we'd much appreciate it. So,
all right, Sky, we've got about 13 minutes and we've got a gaggle we got to get to.
We do. I see that. I have been lost in the comments here getting through these super chats. So if somebody could bring me back to the top where we were at, I'd much appreciate it. Richard is here. So shouts out again to our contributors. We really appreciate you guys so much. Anybody else that wants to jump the line right now during the hot hour, feel free to make a contribution if you'd like to with the super chat. You can also do that with us all week long and on Tuesday with our quad box as well. Here we go, boys. Ready? Dialing it in. Rapid fire smash mode. Standard league. Bob, that means less points than half PPR. Correct. Mike Evans or Calvin Ridley, who has been absolutely on fire. Mike Evans, number 1 wide receiver last week. Styles?
Evans.
Yeah, Evans for me.
Evans.
Same. Move on forward. If somebody could just handle comments for me, it'd be much appreciated. PPR from Patty. Debo Samuel or a questionable Tank Dell? Matt?
Debo.
Dell.
Debo
as well. Week 16, Texans get the Browns, but they can be beat. Correct. Rams and Saints in 16. I like that. So we're rolling out those ahead of time, beat the waiver wire DSTs. Again, reminder, join us Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Pacific. We're going to be talking about rest of season stacks for DSTs to get a few more of those. Chiefs get the Raiders. Love that 16. Am I overthinking it? No, you're absolutely not. Joe Flacco question, Bob. Stretch and get ready. 20 team PPR, boys. Zappy or Flacco? Oof. Dortch or Wicks? So if anybody doesn't know who these players are, that's fine. Go ahead and Google them quick. Matt, we'll start with you.
I believe Zappy is out. Bob, I don't know if you covered that because I took a break when you did your injuries. I believe Zappy's out, so that's Flacco. And I'm going to go with Dortch, fully healthy, because Wicks has been dinged, and he is the 3rd, if not 4th receiver for Green Bay. So give me Flacco and Dortch.
Yeah, so I've seen that Zappy's actually the expected starter, but that doesn't change my answer.
It's the opposite.
No, I think what Matt meant, Mac Jones is out. So they did bench a guy. It's Mac Jones. Zappy's the player.
Yeah.
I will tell you, NFL Network had it wrong then, because that's where I got my info. They showed Zappy is out. So, yeah, I'm still going Flacco.
Yeah, same for me. Still Flacco. Again, I expect him to throw 50 times. So, and then give me Dortch as well. I mean, Wicks is way down in the depth chart there for Green Bay, and I just don't see him making much of an impact. I know this is a 20-team league, so we're stretching anyway. But give me Dortch. I think he has at least provided some offensive opportunity.
Flacco and Dortch as well.
Flacco and Dortch, fire them up. Good luck, Josh. Billiam Jones.
Who?
Billiam Jones. Jawan. Brevin. Conklin. Fire emojis always. And Jawan Johnson, by the way, the emoji has got to be Mardi Gras. Extra bonus points there. Tight end pivot, boys. Jawan Johnson, Brevin Jordan, Tyler Conklin. We need a deep streaming tight end, Matt.
I'm going to go with Conklin, but I don't like any of it.
No, Juwan for me.
Wait a minute. So we're down. Shaheed and Mike Thomas are out. Yeah, give me Jawan. You're right. Derek's right. No Conklin. Bad weather.
See, that's my nickname right there. Derek is right.
Ooh, Derek the right.
You need. I like the emotion, but at least one thumbs down. Anybody? How about Derek Two Guns?
Derek Two Guns isn't terrible. I'll be honest.
Okay. I would like Derek Two Guns, and I am going to go Juwan Johnson.
Oh, man. Juwan Johnson by a mile for me. Saints are beat up. I like him to have a nice big game today. Micah, welcome back, buddy. Half PPR, Howell or Purdy?
Purdy.
Same, but shouts out to my boy Sammy Howell. That's a quad.
All right, so here was Scott's question. Here's the example. Scott put his question in. He noticed it was down the list. When he threw the super chat in, we got to his question already. So to reiterate, we all went Nico. No, I went Nico. Derek went Nico. Bob went Achan, and Sky went Achan. So Scott, sorry about all of that.
Scotty knows what's up. Love you, buddy. Thanks so much, man. Jake Lewis here. Bench one in PPR. Bijan, Monty, and Mostert. 3 starting running backs. We're benching 1, gentlemen. Matt.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, boy. I hate Arthur Smith. I hate the weather. I hate the Jets D being so good. I just don't know if I can sit Bijan. I need Mostert and Razzball, but I think he might be the sit. Mostert might be the sit for me.
Yeah, with Achan and Wilson both in the mix, and I expected the Dolphins to blow this one out. I'm sitting Mostert.
Sitting Bijan.
Oh, Jesus. I'm sitting Mostert. I think it's Achan and passing. Micah, round 2 here. Another half PPR. Need a running back. Najee, Achan, Singletary, Ford.
Achan.
I'm gonna go. Oh Jesus! God, should I not take Najee? I mean, God, yeah. Give me Achan.
I want Najee too, Bob. But I think Jalen Warren bounces back. Quad. Cosmo. Good morning, fellas. Half PPR. Need 1 at wide receiver. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, Jamar Chase. Wow. Look at that trio, boys. Matt?
Only because he's an auto start. It's Jamar Chase, but I would probably start Nico Collins over him.
Yeah, these 3 have won him a number of games this year. So kudos to Cosmo. Today it's going to be Nico for me.
Yep.
Nico for me as well.
Nico. What up, Daniel? Long time. Half PPR, Achan, Singletary. A lot of Achans coming through here.
Dude, it's like
Miami fans should probably start calling him Pray-Chan because they need him to stay on the field. But I'm going to go Achan over Singletary.
2.
Could I just say this? Like, Singletary's a smash play for me this week. I absolutely love him a lot. And I think if you need the safety, I would go Singletary if you just need the safety. But if you need a blow up game, I'm going to go A-Chain because I think that he's a stud. But Singletary should be good too.
H-N for me, so we're going to give that a 3.5. Doesn't count as a 3.5. Any kickers for this week?
Bob, top 5 kickers, go.
Go. Let me pull up my kickers. There we go. All right. So if you need streamer kicker this week, my favorite is Will Lutz. Denver going up against the Houston Texans. If you have Jason Saunders available as well, Miami Dolphins against Washington Commanders is a solid one too. I also like Matt Gay against Tennessee and Blake Groupie going up to Detroit. So my number 1 kicker is Will Lutz. Number 2 is Blake Groupie that I picked up for streaming, and number 3 would be Matt Gay as an option if Jason Saunders is not available.
Well done. That was quick. Micah back. Half PPR, 2 wide receivers, Amari Lockett. Lockett already played. Amari Cooper, Rashee Rice, Garrett Wilson, Hollywood Brown.
I'm going to take Rashee Rice, and based on Derek thinking that Joe Flacco is going to throw 50 times, give me Amari Cooper.
2.
Same.
Yeah, I got to go with D2 guns down there. I'm going to trust him. I like it. We'll make it a bidaloop, bidoop, boop. Boo.
Can we all say Jawan Johnson is our pick here?
Yes.
Yes.
Come on, Bob. Don't go with Hunter Henry. What are you doing? Bidoop, boop. 4. No great options, but can you pick one to start? Minshew, Baker, or Pickett? That might be
I am actually starting Minshew in a league this week, so I go with Minshew. They're going to throw the ball today. Yep. I go with all. I'm cool with firing up all the Colts, so Minshew is good with me.
What he said, Minshew.
Minshew works for me as well.
Matt, would you even start Austin Collie?
I would start Mo Austin Cox.
Count it.
Alley.
Hey, I'm gonna go Baker in that mix, but you guys are. It's fine.
I would start Dallas Clark over all of those tight ends we mentioned.
Love Dallas Clark. Him and Chris Cooley were my guys for years. Isaac Melendez, shouts out, buddy. Jordan Reed, too. All right. I live 30 miles from Foxborough. Grounds are oversaturated. It's a mess. And it's that cool 42-degree rain. Pre-sleet, if you will. Downgrade the passing game and kickers. If you play an IDP, I'd go with Khalil Mack. This is absolute boots on the ground intel. We love to see this. Well done. Thanks, guys. Bodybuilding Weekly, you're very welcome. Pitt nailed the avocado. Well done there, and shouts out. Got it from Billion Jones. Throw out the hearts around here. Murph, big up yourself. I believe we went through this, but let's do it. We did go through that one. How would you rank those guys? Thank you. Murph, again, thanks for the contribution, buddy. Micah, college football playoff. We got the official rankings. Michigan. I think that's a typo, number 2. We got Texas, Alabama, Florida State, and Georgia. Interesting how that's gone down in the last couple of weeks. Matt, get that off the screen immediately. Frank, great things you guys are doing about the kids. You absolutely got it. Pickens, Deontay, and Reed, full PPR. Matt?
Look who's back, Jamie, our buddy.
What up, Jamie?
I think it's going to be a ground game for the Steelers, so give me Jaden Reed.
Ooh.
No, Deontay for me.
God, we talked about all 3 of these guys on our show on Friday. It was give me Jaden Reed. Why not?
Atta boy, Bobby Two Parms.
I gotta go with Big Guns D. We'll figure it out. I gotta go with Deontay as well. I don't trust Pickens. I'm gonna go with Deontay. Thanks, Jamie. Cameron, Mostert, Mixon, PPR.
Gross. Volume play Mixon.
Oh my God.
No.
What? Mostert. All day.
Didn't we all just fade Mostert like 37 seconds ago?
Compared to Bijan Robinson, yeah, maybe, but not Mixon with
so you're saying
weird
Mixon
quarterback.
I'm not talking to you, right? You're in timeout. All right, Mostert then. I need Mostert to score for Razzball. So yeah, I'm with you. Pat on the back, Bob. All Mostert all day. Achan, Prachan, he can sit. He can get injured again. I don't wish that on anyone. But give me Mostert then. Sure. 3 for Mostert. Sky?
Pray Chan, I love it. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Mixie. Let's go Bungles. Make it happen. Mixon's due for a game.
I don't understand this.
Vontae, Mac, no matter what.
Yeah,
I believe that was
that's
draft
a
day.
draft day. There you go. He got it.
Never saw the movie.
What?
Nope.
Such a good movie.
Next. Appreciate all the help. You guys rock on the emoji
Nice.
trivia. Man,
Yeah.
Billiam is unbelievable with the emojis. And I feel like we're going about 85, 90% generally. So well done. As long as we don't allow Bob to guess, we crush the emojis. So Billiam, thanks for keeping us on our toes. We appreciate that.
Yeah, so let's rank it real quick. 1 through 4 of folks on this quad box. 1 through 4, who are the best emoji figure outers? Sky, I'm going to go you 1, me 2, Derek 3, Bob 5.
Yeah, Bob,
Two.
Bob's just in my top 5 because he writes my checks. But I got to be honest, it's been pretty
That's
rough.
smart.
I'm not going to lie.
I'm pretty sure Gray writes the checks, but whatever helps you try to kiss ass for a better Christmas bonus, go for it.
Matt, I got another 3 weeks here to kind of pony up the stats for that bonus. So if you could just let me do my thing, I'd really appreciate that.
Have all the avocados you want, buddy.
Oh, I love avocados. It's a fruit, by the way. Next, Micah, back for another one. We got 2 for a flex. Najee, Singletary, Ford, Hollywood Brown, and Garrett Wilson. We need 2 for a flex. Matt?
We're going half PPR, so it somewhat negates the wide receivers in this one, so I'm going to avoid them. Bob loved Singletary. I'm mad at Bob right now, so I'm going to go Najee, but then I'm going to go Singletary. Singletary is 2 for me because he said it's a smash play. I don't know why. He's got the analytics. I'm good, so I will trust in Bob, which is a terrible thing to do. So give me Najee and Devin Singletary.
Yeah, I'll take Najee and Singletary as well.
Same here.
Oh, man. Hollywood Brown could have a nice game. I'm going to go with Najee and Hollywood Brown.
Ladies and gentlemen, look who showed up.
Shouts out to the Wolverines. I've been a Wolverine guy since the Brady era, so I like that a lot. Savage, we did have a sting earlier. I'm not sure if you were here for that. I'm going to let you and Matt settle that maybe on Tuesday night or next week. We don't quite have time for you guys to drop the gloves at this point, but we love you, bud. Wish you the best here. And Bob is starting Jared Goff so that Brock Purdy goes off. So I just want to give you a shout out real quick.
You're welcome.
Any more?
But
We got
mind
about 30 seconds.
Yep. We have all been on the Lions today, so Savage, start all your Lions.
You got it, buddy. Quad fathers, put up the 4s, gentlemen. Let's get them up. Get them up. We got. No, Derek just refusing. Fair enough. Brees and Javante, quickly.
Brees for me.
Javante.
Javante
as well.
All right, last one.
Hurting, wide receiver help. Need 2. PPR, Christian Watson, Dodson, Dortch.
Dortch.
Pick 2.
Watson. Dortch.
Way to end on confidence. We love to see that.
Yeah, I have to agree. Watson and Dortch for me.
I'm going to go Dodson, actually. He's been on fire. Dodson and Dortch.
I'll go Dotson and Dortch as well.
Got it. Hurting. Oh, we got that already. Never doubt.
That's it.
Appreciate you, Savage. Everyone, join us on Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. We're doing another quad box. We'll be back for a recap. We're talking DST. We're going to stack a couple. We're talking rest of season schedule. Check us out on Tuesday night. We got to get into football. Bob, run us out.
Well, folks, that's all we got today. Thanks you for joining us once again on the Razzball Fantasy YouTube channel. We want to, make sure you join us on Tuesdays for our Tuesday show. We're going to be breaking down must-have defenses for your playoff push. But this is our Sunday Live Start show. Thank you for joining us again, guys. I got nothing for you. I love you all. Thanks for joining. Make sure you enjoy some football. Go get to the playoffs so we can talk to you for the next month. We are out of here.